Hi guys, welcome back to Blue Mountain Bushcraft and Outdoors. Today we're here to do a Gauntlet review of the Quickhatch Trapper custom knife. Stay tuned, show you what it can do, and tell you what I think about it. We're not going to screw around, get right into this review. This is a Quickhatch Trapper. Quickhatch Bushcraft Knives is a company that I was previously unaware of. Ben over at Living Survival talked to these folks at Blade Show down in Georgia earlier this year and arranged to have some of their products put into the Gauntlet. So I was pretty excited to see somebody new. So Quickhatch is a knife manufacturer, not a custom Kydex sheath manufacturer. And while the retention on this sheath is decent, it holds in there pretty well. It's a little loose, but it'll hold. That's about the only thing decent I have to say about the sheath. The fit and the finish is pretty bad. The belt clip is completely unusable. It'll hang on your belt, but try and draw the knife out while this thing's on your belt, forget about it. The whole sheath's coming right off. So this is a no-go. The edges are rough, poorly finished. It's just not a good sheath. So we're gonna not talk about that any further. You're not buying this thing for the sheath, you're buying it for the knife. So sheath, get out of here. Okay, so this is the Quickhatch Trapper. The Quickhatch Trapper is made out of 01 tool steel. It has a saber grind. The blade is 4 3/4 inches long. The handle's 5 inches long, and an overall length of 9 3/4 inches. And the blade thickness is 3/16 of an inch. This particular model, we've got hardwood scales, probably walnut, 2 solid brass pins, and a very large brass lined lanyard hole, which is quite nice. The first thing that I noticed about this knife when I got it was the handles, because that's what was sticking out of the sheath. And the handles are mildly contoured across this direction, and otherwise they are pretty flat. And I'm going to tell you right off the bat, this is not my favorite type of a handle. They did do a very nice job on blending these edges and these transitions so that they don't produce hot spots in the hand. So for a slab style handle like this one's fairly comfortable. Still not my favorite style, but some people really like these, so that's pretty much a personal preference thing. As you can see, the transition from the handle slabs to the full tang, nice and smooth. There's no gaps, there's no waves, there's no ridges, nothing like that all the way around. So the fit of the handle scales to the knife is very, very good. Quickhatch has their name and logo laser engraved on the left side of the blade, which is pretty cool. The grind angles are all pretty even. The tip is super stout. Don't mind the discoloration. I've been using the heck out of this thing. The spine on here is a 90-degree spine that is pretty sharp. Not the sharpest I've seen, but it does a very good job of scraping bark material, of scraping wood and ferro rod. So no major complaints there. I think that's a pretty good spine. I don't think I would modify this at all. I like that. Now, other than the contour of the handle slabs, which, like I said, is a personal preference thing, my only real criticism of this knife is in this area right in here. There's a lot of wasted space going on here, and I don't really care for that. If you look here, the grind actual edge actually stops right here. So it doesn't even come all the way back to here. Alright, I'd really like to see this cleaned up. If you're going to leave this part unsharpened, okay, that's fine, I can live with that. But at least finish out the edge bevel. Come all the way back here and give us that little bit of extra length of sharpened material. Because this, basically from here to here, is wasted. Okay, now like I said, this is a bit of a beast. I think Ben over at Living Survival said this knife reminded him something like a BK2, and I would have to agree. This has a very solid, very substantial feel in the hand. There's a lot of knife here, a whole lot of knife. And I believe this thing will stand up to whatever abuse you want to throw its way. I don't see that there's anything that you're going to be able to do to this knife short of gross neglect and abuse that's going to phase it. This is a workhorse of a knife. So for a workhorse of a knife, we are, while still keeping it within reasonable limits, going to do some work with it. This stuff, I don't know if this is Osage Orange or Locust, but it's not fully seasoned and it's ridiculously tough. And it's got this big knot in it. So we're going to see how well the Quickhatch will baton through this thing, because this stuff is hard. Trapper split that without too much difficulty at all. Again, tip is in perfect shape, stock's completely straight, no problems. Let's split this down a little further. Alright, with the batoning, the one thing I will say, and it batons very, very well, but the knife has a tendency to get this unsharpened portion into the wood as you're batoning. And what that does is that starts to cause a lot of excess drag, and the handle, as you're batoning, wants to creep up and kind of stay more in place while the tip is penetrating down through. You're constantly having to push that handle down. So again, I'd like to really see that cleaned up for batoning purposes. Other than that, this thing splits wood great. Let's see how the Trapper feathers. Like I said, I am not entirely positive what this is. I think it might be Locust, but I don't know. It's hard and not really the best stuff for feathering. Let's see how this saber grind does with it. See if we can't get this to take a spark. Let's see how this thing does at chopping. It's not a great big chopping knife, but it's got some definite heft to it, and this swell in the back is pretty nice to grip onto. Not bad. Feels a little loose in my grip. Let's put the lanyard on it. Alright, that nice generous lanyard hole makes putting a lanyard on here really easy. Not the greatest chopper. Granted, it's not designed for it, but I feel that the grip really limits my ability to keep a firm grip on here while putting a lot of power into the blade. I think it's just because it's so thin. See how it does with some cutting tasks. See how the trapper does with some push cuts. This is a saber grind, so obviously it's not going to do as well as say a Scandi. It should do alright. I'll get the job done. Alright, so what are my final thoughts on this? Well, after batoning it, and you know guys, I've tested this out for a week or two before bringing it to you, so this isn't the first time I've had it out, and I haven't done anything to the edge since I got it. When I got it, I just lightly touched it up on some ceramic, and it feels as sharp as it was when I was done touching it up. So it holds an edge well. The heat treat seems to be excellent. The 01 tool steel I've got a lot of experience with as a fantastic steel, holds an edge well. It's tough. It's very durable. This thing is a stout, stout knife. You're not going to break it, or if you do break it, you're doing something you shouldn't be doing with it, because it's tough. I liken this to a BK2. It's very tough. It's a very strong knife. It's a solid, durable knife. But it could do a better job at actually cutting. As it is, for me, those thin handles are tough. They don't give me any hot spots at all. I haven't had any issues of hot spots, but what they do for me again is give me a lot of hand fatigue when I'm working with this. And you know, part of that maybe because the grind isn't as efficient as it could be, coupled with the shape of the grips, is just causing me some fatigue when I'm using this a lot. But it's a strong knife. It's a nice overall design. For me, again, those grips need to have some more girth to them. This grind needs to be fixed. This is just, that shouldn't be. This part, I'd like to see that at least reduced. Again, that's a personal preference thing. But overall, it's not a bad knife for the money. If you like the BK2, but you like this design, you're gonna like this knife. is it performs a lot like a BK2. So personally for me, I do some modifications to it. Some of you might not. It's a solid design, it's a solid knife with a few minor issues that I think can be very easily cleaned up. I know some of the other guys in the Gauntlet like to give knives a number review. I'd say on a scale of 1 to 10 for this knife, overall likability for me on this runs, I'm going to say probably about a 6.5 to a 7. Clean up this grind, thin this edge out a little bit, recontour these handles, and I think this would be a solid 9. It's got a lot of potential, the materials are good, there's a lot of good craftsmanship that's already gone into this, just some little things that I think need to be cleaned up and tweaked, and some of those are personal preference. But it's a good overall knife and a nice design. So guys, if this looks like something that would interest you, I'm going to put Quickhatch's information in the description box down below. They've got some other very interesting designs on there. Love to check them out. I guess that's about it. All right, guys, if you liked the video, do me a favor, give me a thumbs up. If you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to the channel so you can get timely updates to new content. Don't forget to share this video with your friends, and if you would be so kind, leave any comments in the comment section down below. I'd try and answer each and every one of them. If you want to get more in depth, come on over to our Facebook group, Blue Mountain Bushcraft and Outdoors. Send me a join request and we will get you hooked up and we can talk more in depth about this knife or any other knife or outdoor related topic you might like. Make sure you log on to www.thegauntlet.tv. That is a relatively new website for the Gauntlet Review Ring where you can search for reviews by product or by reviewer. Makes it much easier for you, the viewer, to log in and follow whatever aspect of the Gauntlet you find most enjoyable. All right, guys, thanks for watching. Appreciate your time. Take care. See ya.